So the season's over, the awards are in, and the transfer speculation has begun. Welcome to Grumpy Old Reds. Evening, everybody. Hope you're doing well, and welcome to Grumpy Old Reds. Coming up tonight, we're going to go through all the latest transfer news. We'll be talking you through the links. Are they good? Are they crap? Are they good enough to play for Forest? And we'll be talking about the season, how it's gone. Are we happy? Are we over the Chelsea game? And who thought that was best player and who thought it was the crappiest player? I don't know. Stuff like that. If you're enjoying the content, please don't forget to hit the like button. Make sure you're subscribed as well if you're new here. And what the hell are these crown things in the chat, man? So if you now type more, like, hold on, community leaderboard. A place for fans to stand out in the community. The top 3 get special badges in live chat. It resets every stream. How'd you get on the leaderboard? Collect XP, send live messages, or send super chats and super stickers. Alrighty then. This looks very twitchy from YouTube. Already in second place with no clue what's going on. Congratulations, mate. You're in second. Wait, so if someone spams the chat, do they go top? I don't know.
Yeah, and then they get banned.
Yeah. How you boys doing? Good.
All right.
Yeah, all right.
Wow, the enthusiasm is oozing, man. The enthusiasm is oozing. Are we over Sunday? Are we good? Yeah?
No. I was not in comment.
I think I am, I think I'm over it. I was so upset. That I didn't even want to come on any of the streams or anything. I asked the guys, I was out of it. But on reflection, it's been a great season. And it's just the way it ended that leaves a sour taste in the mouth. But to be honest, man, I'm really grateful for what we've witnessed this season and to be in the position we are going into next season. I'm actually really excited in a way that Conference League, I don't think would do that to me. And I was at a point, I'll be honest, it was a point of me saying maybe we should throw the two-legged qualifier not to get into the tournament. But actually, listening to a lot of non-Forest fans talking about it and talking about the experience that we could get. And even the great interview you did with Kieran the other day, mate, that was fantastic. And him talking about, the experiences that fans will have. And we cannot turn this down, man. Even if we're a little bit upset, I guarantee you there's not a single one of those seats for tickets for these away games in Europe that won't go unsold, So the fans are really going to get into it as the season kicks on. But to get over last season, I didn't think I'd get over it this quick, but I think I have, because I'm thinking forward now. And that's the thing. As Nuno's always said, you can always look forward and look to the next game, and we've got to kind of get over how we finished. But it was upsetting, really upsetting. But we've got so much to look forward to, man. That I can't go carry on feeling like that.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. I mean, Kieran did convince me a bit that, like, for the fans, the experience will be more joyful. For the club, I don't know. I guess it's a flex, isn't it? More than anything else. Shout out to Stone Roses with the 25 months. I think I saw before we went live. Yeah, Chris with the 28 months as well. Shout out to you guys. I don't know who's winning this leaderboard thing. Someone will have to explain it to me at some point. But I think Gamer is on it. But yeah, I don't know. I still think 2 points Champions League, because I'm not liking the names or links, if I'm being honest with you, man. I'm trying to get excited by them. Yilmaz does excite me. About it, really, man. It just feels like 2 points made all that difference, Ben, in our kind of transfer plans.
Yeah, I mean, from my point of view, the reason I'm disappointed is not because we lost the game so much. It's the fact that knowing we had to go out there and win it, we didn't have a single shot on goal from open play. And I just can't get that statistic out of my mind. Like, we had a great season, but to go out in your last game knowing you have to win and not have a single shot on target, that for me is more disappointing than actually losing the game. Because I just don't understand how you can't have a shot on target when you need 3 points. But overall, the season's been good. I mean, from where we were last season, obviously it's an amazing achievement. But like Wolfie says, I think you've got to have some disappointment. Like 2 more points and you would have been Champions League. 1 more point, 1 more point, you would have been Europa.
Okay, let me just confirm this one final time. Right, Chelsea winning means nothing. The only way it would have meant something is if Chelsea was 6th, but for Chelsea to have been 6th would have meant we had to beat them, which would have meant we were in the Champions League anyway. It don't change nothing. That position just disappears. Okay, look, before we get into all the transfer stuff, let's kick it off with some positives, right? Chat, let's get you guys in on this as well. Because I kind of do want to forget about the last couple of weeks of the season, but yeah, Stone Rosa says happy clappers. Yeah, I feel like I'm surrounded by him these days, mate. But Rob, let's kick this one off with player of the season. But before we do, shout out to Dan W with the 199 says, can I sit next to Rob on the plane to Transylvania? Mate, no. Why would you want to? Why would you want to?
Don't forget, Dan, Rob is a raging alcoholic, so
not anymore.
Have we got sober Rob tonight, or tipsy Rob?
Yeah.
I like drunk Rob. He was funny.
Sunday, I stopped. That was it. I mean, now the football season's finished, there's no reason to get drunk. So should be all right until August now.
Drink your sorrows away.
Well, we got pre-season friendlies.
I preferred your alter ego, Bob. Drunk Rob.
Bob.
Well, this is what happens when you let me go to the pub first. So, look, player of the season. I've seen this discussed quite a bit, and people always give like a short list of 6. So I think that we should have to give just one name, right? And that's hard. That's hard because there are a lot of contenders. But I did think about this in advance, and there can be only one answer, which it has to be Chris Wood. And the reason it's Chris Wood is 20 goals in the Premier League. You just cannot argue with that. 20 goals in the Premier League at the age of 33. It just showed that when he did have his dips in form and when he did miss those 3 games, that's when we started to suffer as a team. So I think you've got to give it to him. I'm just about ready to forgive him going to get injured playing against New Caledonia. So it has to be Chris Wood for me.
What about his misses against Chelsea?
I think we didn't create enough in that game. By the way, actually, can we just say something about Chelsea, right? I watched the highlights of them winning the Conference League. Congratulations to them. Hopefully that's us next year. They seem to be taking it very seriously, and their fans seem to be enjoying it. They weren't treating it as a Mickey Mouse Cup. But if you look at
what are you talking about, Rob?
They
winning the youth team until the semis, man. That's real serious. Come on, man.
Yeah, but just since we started with our game against them at the weekend, you've got to remember, right? The team they've put out there, Caicedo, £100 million player. Enzo, £100 million player. Cole Palmer, £50 million player. Pedro Neto, £50 million player. So with the best win in the world, our record signings, Sangare, Gibbs-White, and Anderson, they're £30 million players, right? So it just, I think that, and watching that Conference League final, I think really with Chelsea, it just gives you an idea of the gulf and just how much we were punching above our weight for most of the season. And, maybe this Conference League, it can be like a stepping stone for us. I know that's not my answer to player of the season, but you missed me out at the start. So I'm quite looking forward to it. And I think we should be going all out to win it. Because if you win it, you get the UEFA League anyway. Europa League, that's it. So I'm actually I'm positive about it now. You've got to look at it glass half full.
Leo says, shout out to Leo. Leo, you joined on Patreon, didn't you? Absolute legend. Does anyone know if there'll be pre-season friendlies at the City Ground this year? Haven't had any for years. Oh man, do you remember when we used to play Ajax? Yeah. I used to have my mate's son was in the academy. I used to get into this Ajax. That was good days. But there's been no announcement officially of the preseason tour. We believe it will be pretty much the same as last year. We're not going to the American series.
I hope
it's going to be Spain or Portugal.
If we go to Dubai, just right next season off.
Yeah, that's when it all started, didn't it? Yeah, but it'll be Spain or Portugal. In terms of doing it at the City Ground, yeah, I don't know. It depends what upgrades they're doing because they were changing the pitch size last season, weren't they? Was that what they did?
Yeah. Well, we always relay the pitch as well, don't we? We tend
Yeah.
to relay the pitch in the summer because it's literally the only chance they get, unless they. I think a few seasons ago they did it when they had the World Cup break, but other than that, it's done in that close season break. So that probably why. But it has been a while since we've had a pre-season friendly at the City Ground. He's absolutely right. I don't know if anyone remembers. You know, before I think it was before the Euro '96. So I'm going back a while. We did a pre-season tournament at the City Ground where there were. I remember Manu coming down and a couple of other teams. I think Inter Milan. But there was a few teams in there. I don't know if anyone else remembers going to that, but it was the first time I saw Cantona. Mate, Cantona tried to lob Crosley from a halfway line, hit the crossbar, and then in the second half he lobbed him from about 35 yards. It was absolutely amazing. But yeah, Scott saw a few plays there. But yeah, it has been a while, so it would be interesting, but it would probably be down to the pitch being relayed, and we still haven't heard anything. There were rumours midway through the season, especially when you guys went to the stadium tour, where they were rumouring about starting the ground redevelopment potentially this summer, but we haven't heard anything more on that, have we, Wolfie?
No.
No. You can't shed.
I think they went quiet. My reading is they went quiet because I thought they're getting Champions League and they wouldn't have done the redevelopment in a Champions League campaign. I reckon they'll do it this summer. At least start it.
If they were going to start it, they would be starting it right now. So they're not. They're kicking it down the road for another year. So
they bought up the houses, didn't they? I can't remember what the last update was.
There was one left. There was one left.
That was it. One left.
Yeah, so what will happen is they'll find a reason to put it off next year. The best time to have done it was about 5 years ago. I mean, during COVID would have been good.
No. Hindsight and all that, bro.
No, look, I've been saying every single year, upgrade the ground this year. So don't tell me it's hindsight.
It's the same we should have done it in COVID. Excuse me. Say we should have done it in COVID. I've got COVID.
Did you just go off camera to have like a shot or something?
No, I didn't. I'm drinking this. This is not alcohol. It's isotonic.
WKD. Shout out to Matt with the £2. He goes, player of the season, Milenkovic. Stinker of the season, Ward Prowse. I forgot about him. You know what? In a way, I do agree. Ward Prowse is crap. But when we let him go, why didn't we replace that body? You know what I'm saying? It's like we literally made ourselves a man short.
Weren't we at the limit on loans? I think we were at the limit.
Sent him back, so we obviously had another loan play.
Yeah.
No, there was some reason though that we couldn't. Wasn't that why we kept Moreno as well?
Right, we got rid of him and we didn't loan anyone in.
Moreno was a season-long loan anyway. He was a loan till the end of the season.
Ward-Prowse was as well. It wasn't a 6-monther. They just terminated.
Yeah, Ward-Prowse one was cut short, but like I say, they were both season-long loans, so we did have another place open up when Ward-Prowse went back. But you're right, that wasn't addressed, and there were players available on loan, I'm sure.
Yeah,
a few mistakes, and I think we'll all look back on January as a mistake and a chance to where we could have improved. Because I do think one or two players could have got us over that line.
I'm not sure, Ez. That's so not here. So the thing is, I don't think we could have fixed it with a couple of signings in January. I've now reached looking at what Chelsea wheeled out in that final and against us. You cannot bridge the gap with those teams in one January.
Chelsea weren't the only team we played in that run of 4 home games where we didn't.
I know, but you look at the people that were in that top 5, and we really we were punching so far above our weight to even be, in the same breath as them. So,
but we were way ahead of them, Rob.
I know, but okay.
Chelsea didn't strengthen in January, by the way. Chelsea didn't strengthen in January, and we were 8 points clear of them with 8 to go.
Chelsea didn't need to strengthen in January. They've spent £1 billion.
Maybe a striker, but other than that, no.
Do you know what? You guys are sounding like the entitled Forest fans that I hear about.
I am that entitled Forest fan.
Sorry to interrupt, Dave. Do carry on.
I'm proud of it as well.
No, there is an element of that because it's like, we were there, so we should have stayed there. But the table doesn't lie at the end of the season. It balances itself out. And let's be honest, this is a season review. There were games last season that we were lucky to come away with 3 points from. There were games where we held on by skin of. One that jumps to mind really is the Liverpool game at home. They battered us that second half, mate. They absolutely battered us. For us to even hold on to a point from that game, we did well. And there were other games where Matt Sells has come out with saves. We've had goal line clearances where we didn't have many shots throughout our season. We know about Chris Wood's strike rate. It was ridiculous at one point. It was the highest in Premier League history. So we weren't creating loads of chances, but we were taking them, and we were winning games by one goal and 2 goals.
We said in Jan it'd be unfair to expect Chris Wood to fire on all cylinders every single game for the whole season, and we were right.
That's why I can kind of contest that. Maybe 1 or 2 players could have made that difference, just that little difference that we needed. But it has happened, and the table. I'm going to go back to the table. Doesn't lie, guys.
It does lie, man. It does lie.
No, it doesn't. It balances itself.
It does lie. The champions of the Europa League are 17th in the league, man. It lies. It lies. Chris,
no, but that's nothing to do with the league. The league is telling the truth. They were shit in the league. They deserve what they got in the league. All
right, Bournemouth finished in the top half of the league. It lies. It lies. Chris with the £2. He says Mr. Marinakis will want to win this cup. Yeah, I can see that as a flex. He'll be like, Team 1, cup. Team 2, same cup. I'm the man. So I can see that. Shout out to Chris with the £2. And Jordan with the 20 months says, hey, boys, hope you're all good. I'm getting there, man. I'm not going to lie. I'm still not fully over this season and how it ended, but I'm getting there. Guys, we've got already 300 in the house. Please make sure you've hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe. And also make sure you subscribe to the second channel as well. It's pinned in the comments. There'll be loads of transfer news for Premier League in general on there. And in this community thing, Jeff is leading the way. He's first. I don't know what that means, Jeff, but congratulations. Chris is second.
Being first, mate.
And Demos, you're third. You've been shoved down to fourth. And Ant, not the Ant, but Ant, 28226, he's in seventh, like Forest. Oh my God, it ranks the whole top 50. It's crazy. Anyway, I don't know what it means, but keep doing what you're doing, chat. All right, let's get back to this. So Rob, you're saying Cristiano Ronaldo, right? Ben, what are you saying? Chat, get yours in. I'll put a poll in as well for a few of the names.
I mean, I think Chris Wood had a good season, but for me, there's only... Come back.
Eds, who are you saying?
Right. I think there's only... I'm probably stealing Crypto's thunder, so I'm quite happy to do that. But I think he was going to say Milenkovic, and for me, it has to be Milenkovic. There's no one single player that I think has transformed the whole squad as much and made as much of an impact. We all spotted the problems last season. Nuno did, obviously, the recruitment team did. And he was one of our first signings, and he's bedded in well. First season in the Premier League, he's looked like an absolute beast. His stats have spoken for itself. Couple of games, yes, where both him and Murillo looked a little bit ordinary, but that wasn't the norm for last season. He was exceptional, and I feel like without him, we wouldn't have been anywhere near where we finished. So Milenkovic for me, and a lot of people have said it in some of the previous streams you've done and in the comments. He 100%, Carol. He 100% has to be the captain next season for me. He has to be the captain. He's already captain on the pitch. Go on. He was already captain on the pitch, but yeah, he's brilliant. But yeah, that was me. So is that what you were going to say, Crypto? Have I stolen your thunder on that one?
Yeah, I mean, before I got rudely interrupted by my dog, I was going to say, look, Chris Wood had a good season, but for me, if you're going to choose the best player of the season, it's got to be someone who's consistent in pretty much every game. And the only two candidates for me would be Sells and Milenkovic. And it would have to be Milenkovic. I think since Milenkovic has come into the team, he's been absolutely fantastic for us. He's a rock at the back. I'd love to see him captain the side next season, like he does for Serbia. But if you look back to the previous season, I believe we were the highest team for conceding goals from set pieces. And this season, I think we're the lowest or second lowest. So the difference he's made at the back, not only defensively, not only heading the ball out, but also screaming at the players to push the side forward. You know, I know it's a team game, but I think single-handedly, Milenkovic has made such a huge difference. And when he did drop out for a few games, when you see like Morata come in and stuff, the difference is just is mind-boggling. He doesn't have the flair of Murillo, but the partnership of him and Murillo is fantastic. So Milenkovic for me is by far the player of the season. And if we were to lose him, I think we would be in some serious trouble.
And he has been a threat going forward as well. Go on, sorry.
I was going to say, I'm going to put a case for Sells.
Yeah, he would be my other choice.
Yeah, I just think when you look at the person, this is almost the opposite argument to Rob's one. Like Chris Wood can be accredited with reasons we've gained points, and so can Sells. Like if you really break it down, Chris Wood's goals that won games got us 3 points, but Sells' saves that kept us in the lead or kept us drawing or stopped us losing.
He shared the golden glove as well.
And he got golden glove. I don't really care about these bloody golden glove, these freaking Harry Kane awards, man.
No, but I mean, it's the benchmark, isn't it? Like 20 goals for Chris Wood. Yeah. I mean, the people that get that come along once every 10, 20 years for us. So I think it's
he basically got us to Wembley. He got us to Wembley as well, as Jeff says, all those penalty saves. When we can be bothered to score in 120 minutes or whatever.
The thing is, though, the reason I didn't choose Sells is that, let's say, hypothetically, you take out Milenkovic and put Morata in. I don't think Sells wins Golden Glove there, because Milenkovic has stopped so many attacks single-handedly that, yes, Sells is a fantastic keeper, don't get me wrong, but the defence in front of him have massively helped him face less shots.
Well, that's a good point, because I think it's difficult to pick out one defender to give credit for our defence, because it's been the unit. I mean, if you look, we had 3 games in a month where we won with a clearance off the line in the last 5 minutes. Southampton, Man U and Tottenham. And it was different players each time, right? So, but whereas I think with the defence, you have to give him an award as a unit. I think our attack without Chris Wood is non-existent, which is why I picked him out, because he's been the man.
My argument against it would be, for me, we need to, as great as Sells was and Chris Wood is, we need to be bringing in, if we're serious about next season or any progression, we need to be bringing in players to replace them too. I'll say this again. I do not want to be going into next season as Chris Wood as my main striker. We need a main striker, and he's the backup. I'm sorry, we can't.
I don't think Milenkovic is replaceable. Tell me another 6.
Yeah, exactly. That was going to be my argument for Milenkovic. Why he's the one, he doesn't need replacing. Yeah, that was going to be my argument against it. So I'm not replacing Milenkovic. We'll talk about this, because I'm looking for Nuno to give himself some options next season in terms of formation and plays that he brings in. And I believe we've got 2 of the best centre backs. Let's hope we manage to hold on to both of them. But for us to progress, the style of football I want to see next season would involve us playing 3-4-3. I want an attacking style of play, because I'll go into this more as well, because I think we've been kind of a little bit hamstrung with having MG Dub and trying to fit in a number 10. I want to play formation. I'm looking for a formation without a number 10. And that means that I'm expecting MG Dub to move on this summer, and I'm planning without him.
He doesn't want to leave. They're breaking news for you guys.
I think the right offer will come in. I think it will involve a player swap. But I want to get away from the feeling like we need a number 10. Unless he wants to play as a number 8 going forward, then that's fine. I'm happy with that, and I think he can do that. But I want a new formation, and I want 3 strong centre backs. I want to add to Milenkovic and Murillo. I'm looking for quality to add.
You've got a Ferrari as well, and it's like some lap dancers, man.
Can we get Tyler Binden into the squad? Because I think he needs game time. Even if he's just coming on for 5 or 10 minutes as the 3rd defender, I think he's tipped for the top, isn't he? Right?
Yeah, let's not big him up too much. He's in League One. Let's not big him up.
No, I will big him up. He's quality.
He will be quality, but we still need other central defenders. Look at. I mean, I think Bolly is fine.
Yeah.
As long as Bolly's fit, I think Bolly's fine to keep.
He's out of
But
contract.
Morocco,
I want to see
I think
somebody
he is,
like
yeah.
him or Abbott in the squad getting used on a regular basis. I don't think everything needs to be solved by signing a £30 million player. You know,
That's what the
I agree.
preseason for. That's what the preseason
I
for.
agree, and we'll have plenty of games to do that. You know, we'll have a lot of extra games. What did Chelsea play? About a dozen extra games by playing in the Conference League. You know, so there are games where we will need other players, and we're not going to need to play our strongest players in Europe, I believe, and it is a good chance to bring in some of the youth players and give them.
Most teams in the Conference League wouldn't even survive in League One. So let's be honest.
Yeah, well, exactly. And I think that's been part of the problem with Nuno, because he would have liked a longer run in League Cup, for example, just to give these players a bit more game time, because I think he struggled to keep everyone happy at one stage. But we do need to bring in players who will want to compete for the shirt. There's enough games next season, but we want players who I think are going to have to be better than what we've got. So for me, we need a goalkeeper that's better than Sells. Sells is fantastic and he's been great, but we still need a better goalkeeper. Again, with Chris Wood, we need a better striker, and we need him not to be our mainstay going into next season, because I don't think that shows any ambition.
I don't think we need a better goalkeeper. I think Matt Sells one of the best keepers in the league.
But who have we got behind him?
Ben, do we need a better backup goalkeeper?
Yeah, exactly.
You know who's coming back.
Yeah, of course. We need a better backup goalkeeper, but not a replacement to Matt Sells.
You know who's coming back, yeah?
Look at the likes.
Matt Turner's coming back, who's probably the best keeper I've ever seen at Forest.
Look at Chelsea. You know, they've had like Sanchez and Jorgensen, or Liverpool have got Alisson and the Irish guy. You know, you need two. If you want to compete with these people in the Champions League places, you need to. So we need another.
I agree. Yeah, I agree. But Sells isn't going to sit on the bench all season.
I just want to show you boys. This is round one. I don't know if you'll be able to read it. Can you see that?
Not really.
These are all the teams that have qualified for round one, right? Shamrock Rovers, Yorker, Bananas, Luca. Flora, Butter,
Torpedo Blaz,
Lerny.
Bruno's Magpies. They look good. Gibraltar.
Someone's called Bruno's Magpies. Chat, how many of these teams have you heard of?
Torpedo.
Is that too small? All right, I'll make it bigger. How many?
I was had to stare at that like point blank range with my glasses on to read that.
I can't. I don't know if anyone in the chat can do this, because I've had a look and it's not showing it yet. See if you can find the odds for next season's Conference League. We've got to be favourites going into this tournament. To go into a tournament where we are going to be probably
Fiorentina are going to be in there.
Fiorentina, us and Fiorentina, we're going to be clear favourites. You got to look at that as a positive, surely, man. How many tournaments are we going to enter as favourites? Come on.
Well, you think we're favourites for it?
Yeah, we'll be us and Fiorentina will be clear favourites, surely. We can't even pronounce half the other teams, not even half of them, the majority of the other teams. We can't even pronounce them. So there's no one else apart from Torpedo, Belize, or whatever they were called, that really stands out for me. We've got to go.
That a bit better. There you go. There's some of the teams there. All right, you got Niemann Grodno. Oh, you weren't even joking, Rob. Bruno's Magpies.
Yeah, Bruno's
Zach
Magpies.
Ramirez. He started his own team now. So he's done
YouTube.
I'd have a lot more fun going to Latvia or something.
Dynamo Brest.
It's going to be a lot more fun going to Latvia than going to Paris and getting tonked 4-0 by PSG. So just look at it as a positive. What are these, by the way? The capacities of the ground or something?
No. These what?
These are the seeded and unseeded teams.
No. These are the teams that go into the first qualifying leg, right? So eventually, you'll mix some more in with there as well. One of these teams will be our playoff contenders.
Yeah.
Right? So that's what's going to happen there.
Why are we in the playoffs? Why are we even in that?
You have to basically this tournament is targeted at lower non-top 5 European leagues, right? Here's some more of the teams.
Yeah.
St. Patrick's Athletic. I hear they're good. St. Joseph's.
This is very
Another
Eastern
torpedo.
European dominated, by the way.
Man, how many torpedo teams are there, man? Like, seriously.
A lot of torpedoes.
If we gotta get through the playoffs, then like end the club. Seriously, end the club, man. Yeah, the number is the coefficient, by the way. Ours is in the 20s, I think. I think our coefficient is quite high. All right, let me just catch up with some of the super chats. Guys, please remember to hit the like button as well. How are we doing on the likes? We've got over 350 in here and 96 likes. 4 more of you need to like. At least
200.
Yeah, it should be on 200, but you can get over 100 easy. Jordan with the 499 says, sorry, I've not been on for a while. Been in and out of hospital, but I'm okay now, boys. Bro, how's your mum doing as well? She was in hospital as well a while ago. I hope you're both doing really well. I'm glad to hear you're out of hospital. Show some love to Jordan in the chat, guys. He's an absolute legend. Mark says, poll for panelist of the season. We got to do that. We got to do that. Yes. Yes, we'll get that up in a second, man. And shout out to the man, Andrew, with the 20 months. Absolute legend. In your poll, 63% of you went for Milenkovic, 11% went for Wadinho, 23% for Sells, and only 3% went for my boy Einar, man. Like, people forgetting how good he was all season, and he came back injured.
No, but no.
Okay. Let me put a case for Einar, right? If Einar didn't get injured in... What game was it that he got injured? I can't remember. The Man U game, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah? He doesn't get injured. I guarantee you we finish second. How about that?
I don't want to call him out, but he did have a dodgy patch. He had a dodgy patch of 3 or 4 games. No. When the Fulham game was not his finest moment, and
he was carrying an injury
about that time. Newcastle. Anyway,
he was also carrying on there. You telling me, like, I'm telling you, if Einar doesn't get injured in that United game, we win the FA Cup as well. Yeah, I'll go a step further.
Oh, we definitely
you can say
missed him.
Like. It's all
definitely missed him. But the problem we've got, and I think someone did crunch the numbers, we've got about 6 players that played over 3,000 minutes, right? And you can actually check that on Fancy Premier League. So we had a core of 6 or 7 players that sort of picked themselves, and we just flogged them to death, right? And Aina's one of those. And the trouble is that when any one of those 5 or 6 was missing, whether it was Wood or Murillo or Aina, we really felt it. So I think this is a problem. We have to add the depth. And this is why I think, we just weren't equipped. But let's not go over that again. But there was a huge gulf in the depth of the squads that we were competing with.
I felt the same, Rob, about Callum Hudson-Odoi. Since he's got injured and not been on, full fitness, I think we've really missed that counter attack.
Right. He was clearly carrying an injury for the last third of the season, it felt to me.
But earlier on in the season, mid-season, our counter attacks had so much like pace and aggression to them, and recently it's been kind of lackluster.
But
what was
Crypto,
the injury?
You got to add to that.
Was it Achilles?
I'm not blaming
him. His calf, wasn't it? I think his calf.
Since his injury.
But he never came back, did he? He never came back in the same way. But
he played against Man City. That was about it.
I know, but it felt like he'd lost some of his acceleration and pace, and he was taking too long about everything.
All right, I've put the poll up that was requested by Mark. Grumpy Old Red of the Year. You can go Ez, you can go Ben, you can go Rob, you can go Ant. Take your pick. Let's see who's winning that one. Isaac with the £5 says, not many strikers will get 20 goals in our team this season because we don't create many chances. That's facts.
That's true, yeah.
And Wood had the best conversion rate in Europe. Facts again. It's a fair point. I think it's a good shout to put Wood up there, Rob, but I think it still sells, personally. I think it still sells. Jolly Ollie cheerleading Ant in the poll, is he? Saying Rob my goat. Rip Ez, apparently. He's still breathing Ez.
Why is Ant winning? Right. Is it because he's not on tonight?
It's not winning.
Absence makes the heart grow fonder.
Mark is very good at this. He's playing all your egos off each other to see if we get a little I should be ahead of you. I should be ahead of you.
You don't have to vote for yourself.
You voted, didn't you? Ben's voted.
I haven't voted.
He messed up and voted for Ez or something, man. All right, let's do the fun stuff. Let's do the fun stuff, right? Who's been the crappiest player of the year? All right, I know some people shirk off doing this, but not here. So, who's been the crappiest player? Who wants to start this one off?
Shall I go
Rob
first?
should win. Owen, you hate Rob. What do you mean Rob should win?
He's just trying to inspire me. I'll go first on this because I need to eat some humble pie. I was most disappointed with my man Carlos Miguel. I wanted him to come in and really challenge Sells, and I felt when he was given the opportunities a few times, he looked dodgy, and I just don't know whether he's going to stay around. So obviously very small sample size. But
let's not do keepers, man. Keepers a bit, but he's played like 3 games. Yes, he was crap against Exeter, but he's good against Newcastle. Sorry, Mark, I missed the other one. Oh, for mark of the season.
Are you saying that my choice is not valid then?
I'm saying stop hiding. I saw Greg do this, by the way. Don't do a Greg from Talking Reds, right? And whip out a goalkeeper. I'm talking outfield players. Unless you're going to say Matt Turner, let's go outfield players, right?
It'd be more interesting if we said basically like from the starting 11.
Yeah, let's do it because you lot are going to hide behind some fringe players, aren't you? You're going to be like, I think Alex Moreno wasn't that good. Out of the starting 15, let's spice this up, right? Out of the general starting 15, who has been the crappiest? Try that one. Now, does he want to go first? Silence suddenly. You snowflake.
First time we didn't jump in. Listen, it's going to be either Sosa or Diogo Jota. Jota Silva, sorry. But Sosa for me, because I just think I didn't see any. He was out of the 2. I think I was most excited about him coming in. And I think we tried to get him in a few times. And I think Nuno did give him his chances. He just didn't take him. And there's a little bit of an attitude issue with him as well. We saw his tweets or his Instagram posts. So maybe he didn't settle in the way we expected him to. Nuno may give him a little bit longer, but I think he's run his course. So for me, Sosa was the most disappointing of the new signings that we brought in, and in general in the squad for me.
Okay. Who wants to go next? Because the next person can say Jota, and then that leaves the third one stuck with
with nothing.
Go on, Ben.
Is that? Wait, I want to ask you a question first. Is Ant watching this? Is Ant
watching it? I don't know.
I know who you're about to say.
So my most disappointing player of the season is Danilo.
That's harsh. That's harsh, man.
It is. I know.
Let him speak.
Go on.
Go on. Explain why.
DJ and Simon agree with me. Look, Danilo for me, I'm not actually blaming him personally, but I think he's been played when he's come on in the completely wrong position. Danilo is not a defensive midfielder. Danilo is more like a MGW type player for me. I don't think he's as good as MGW, but I prefer to see Danilo as like a progressive 8 or a 10, maybe an Anderson type player. When Danilo's come on, he's basically been used in a Sangare and Yates position as a number 6. And Danilo, for me, does not have the skills to defend, to make, foot-to-foot passes. He's not that type of player. I want to see Danilo on the attack, making runs forward, passing out to the wings. He's been made to sit there, try and tackle players, try and block passes, try and, keep possession. It's not his game. So for me, Danilo, not necessarily by his fault, has been the disappointment of the year. And don't forget, he was great last season and everyone thought he would crack on. Yes, he had a horrible injury, but he was a Brazilian wonder kid. So I think in hindsight, he's definitely been a disappointment for me.
I think you're so harsh. It's on some next level, man.
The only reason I've said that is because I think Ant might be watching this.
He's not. Ant's like sick of Rob.
Okay. I'll say someone else.
Come on. All right, go on then, Rob. What are you saying?
It's not the time to say this, and it'll probably make me very unpopular, but I think if it has to be a regular, Taiwo, I'm afraid.
Oh, you can't say that. Open the vote again. Open the votes again.
Well, here's my reasoning. Here's my reasoning. there was a time when we relied on him more than any other player. I mean, it was him getting injured that basically set off the disaster run that got Steve Cooper sacked, right? There was a period where Taiwo scored 6 goals in 6 games, if I remember
player
right.
of the season then with that.
Yep.
You can't wait, hang on a second.
I haven't finished yet.
Yeah, but you can't go past what you've just said. You've just blamed Taiwo for getting Steve Cooper sacked, which is not true.
I haven't finished my point. What I'm saying is that he has regressed somehow. He's gone backwards, he's gone downhill, and he's had opportunities because basically he's been the only backup to Chris Wood. He's had opportunities, and he seems to have lost some of his pace, and he seems to have lost a lot of his confidence. I'm not saying that he's a bad football player. I'm just saying that I wanted to see so much more from him this season, and I don't think there's really anybody that would have him in their plans for next year. I love the guy, and I love his T-shirts as well. And he's obviously a top quality human being, which is why the rest of the squad rallied around when he had that horrible injury. And by the way, in terms of his commitment, body slamming the post for a probable offside, you can't fault that, yeah? But he just lacked any of the sort of cutting edge or finesse that he had about a season and a half ago.
Oh, hello.
Did he have the finesse though? Was it more the unexpected?
Did I lock up
factor
my back?
Yeah, you got picked up.
There.
Or was it more of a the unexpected?
Always shinned, he took some quite neatly.
Not that many.
Bro,
didn't he shin? I've not got a problem with him shinning, by the way, but how many didn't he shin?
It's just the fact that so many of the players in the squad have improved so much this season. When you look at particularly people like Nico Williams, and I think Taiwo's one that's just gone in the opposite direction. I just don't know what's next for him.
I don't know.
It's
horrible what happened to him. So I
know it's not the right time to say it. But I'm saying that for the season overall.
Yeah, we're not.
Yeah,
obviously, we're not
overall,
injury and all that stuff, right? We're talking about the performance on the pitch. Like, you can't equate the injury. We can't suddenly say because he got injured, he's the best striker we've ever seen since Collymore. No. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're obviously being grown up about this.
No,
that I actually think you put a good case together. Because as a footballer, I'll go a step further. I think he's crap. I'm sorry, I'm just gonna say it. The man can't control. The moment I turned on him was when he passed the ball out. When he missed the ball with his trailing leg. Remember that one? Don't remember it. It was so bad.
The thing is, I don't mind if people are crap as long as they're effective.
He played regular though, was he? So
I can't believe I still got that clip. I'm sorry, but he's not a Premier League footballer. And he's a lovely guy, and we've met him, as haven't we? The top bloke, always smiling.
Yeah.
Smells nice.
But he's crap, man. He's crap. I hate to say it, but he is.
Yeah, we're going to move on without Taiwo, but I go with Rob's argument there because it was disappointing not to have that option, and he wasn't an option for Nuno this season, even when he was fit. The impact play that we needed off the pitch, whilst to give Chris Wood give Chris Wood a bit of a break, it just wasn't there. So from a disappointment point of view, I think Rob's spot on with Taiwo, and I don't see a future for him. As much as obviously we've got to help him make sure he's recovers well, I don't think he's going to play a part in the squad too much next season, and that's another position we're going to have to fill. So there are a couple of roles available next season for players who want to come in and make a point at a club that's establishing itself back in the Premier League, but also hopefully going to be establishing itself in Europe next season. So there is a pull to come to Nottingham Forest and be the main striker for me. T is one of those that has to be replaced.
Let me move the conversation on, and let's make it more interesting, right? I want to talk about Ryan Yates because I think he's probably had one of his better seasons, but I think he's faded off in the second half. Is he good enough for a European/Premier League Forest squad next season? Let's assume our ambitions are to stay where we are. I'll kick this off. I'll be the unpopular one. My answer is no. I just think when you've seen Sangare come on and the qualities Sangare brings, apart from shithousery, I'm not really seeing it with Yates and the passion.
But surely Sangare is now number one choice for the 6th position. So that would make Ryan Yates a squad player. I think he's fine as a squad player.
Yeah.
I mean, look,
I agree.
You're going to need a big squad next season. The conference is basically like the 6th and 7th best team from each league. So it's not like we're going up against the likes of Champions League teams and Europa teams.
Well, we've seen who we're going up against. We can't even
exactly.
So
Shamrock. Actually, might be good against Shamrock. Yeah?
I think he'll be fine. As a squad player, I think he'll be fine. And not just that, but when you watch all the interviews and you hear people talk about him, there's clearly something he gives off the pitch as well, in the sense of, making new players feel welcome. And I know some people don't care about that, but I'm sure like in real life, in everyday situations, having someone like that representing the club is probably quite a good thing. So
do you think he'll get called up for England, as some people suggest?
No, he won't get called up for it. I've got a better chance of getting called up for England. But I'd definitely keep him as a squad player. The only thing I would do, though, is I would take the captain's armband off him and give it to Milenkovic.
I agree with that. I don't like this whole captain is on the bench half the time.
It almost seems ceremonial with Yates, either a captain's armband. He's been there the longest. He's come through the youth team and all that, and he by default he gets the captain's armband, which is kind of felt like that. And Nuno isn't that kind of guy, but I think it is a little bit more ceremonial with him. But we've seen a captain on the pitch, and we know who the players turn to as a captain on the pitch, and it's Milenkovic, 100%. He organises the back line. He's the most vocal. You can actually hear him when you're at the stadium.
Oh yeah, when you go to the matches and watch Milenkovic, he's going mad at everyone.
You've sat a couple of times in the front row, haven't you? You've been close enough to actually hear the play, and you can definitely hear Milenkovic.
It's like it's like that saying, but the wrong way around. We don't need a leader from the front; we need a leader from the back.
Look, I'll be honest. I've put the poll up. Ryan Yates, keep, sell, sub. I'm saying sell because for 2 reasons. One, I think he's at his limit. I can't see him improving any more than he is now. And secondly, we sell him as pure profit. And his stock is probably the highest it's been since we've been back up. Could probably get 20 for him. That's pure profit.
Listen, he's going to be one of these players that stays with Forest for all his career.
I'm not saying he's going to go. I'm just saying, what would you do? Right? Obviously, he's going to stay. Yeah.
Okay, so what? I mean, I'm sure Rob wants to jump in, but let me just give my quick 2 pence worth on it. I think, like Crypto's alluded to, he definitely can play a part in the squad. We've seen how Nuno uses him. The reality of it was what we saw towards the end of the season, that he would be brought on to replace Sangare or Dominguez or someone like that. He's not going to be a starter for Nuno going forward. And I don't think Nuno sees him as that. And we saw how he started the season with Sangare and Danilo initially. But at the same time, what Crypto says is right. You still need a player, as much as we might not see it, but behind the scenes, you need a player that knows the club. We're a club who's got an identity. So to have a player who instills that identity into the squad and the players coming in, I think that is really important. And I'm sure Nuno sees that as well, and as well as Mr. Marinakis does. So I can't see Yates been wanting to be sold or...
Who's that person for Liverpool? Who's that person for Liverpool then? From a Liverpool perspective?
It's to an extent, it was Trent, Trent got through. Look what happened to him. Look how we treated him. I think that was disgraceful, to be honest.
My point is, it doesn't have to be born on the pitch in the middle of the city ground. Like you'd say with Liverpool, it's Virgil. With Arsenal, you'd say probably Gabriel, Declan Rice. They don't have to be like born on the pitch to have that. I think it's the 90s, man. Maybe even 80s.
No, you're talking about 2 different things. I'm talking about the identity of a club. The identity of a club at Arsenal isn't coming from Gabriel or Saliba. It's coming from the players who would have been there, and they haven't got that. I'm telling you, there's not many teams who've got that identity like Nottingham Forest have. We're very unique in that sense.
I'm sure it probably makes a difference in the dressing room as well, like the passion.
Absolutely.
you'll feel from.
And look how much of a difference for Newcastle for what's his name, the centre back. You know, for to come and score the goal in for them to win the cup. Yeah, Burn.
Can we also remember
it does make a difference for clubs like set up like us. Not these big six. They haven't got an identity. Maybe it's soulless clubs, but we're not one of those clubs. And I think
so
United
there is also hang on a second. There's also a requirement to have home nations player quota within your squad, and additionally you get sort of bonus points for having people that have come through your own academy. My concern, well, my concern is that Sangare does not seem able to play 90 minutes. Right?
Yeah, no, I agree, Rob.
Sorry, you take him off, who do you bring on? Right?
Well, we need a backup to Sangare as well.
Well, I think Yates is that backup.
You get Douglas Luiz in.
I think that Sangare and Yates are two halves of one player, right?
I'd still bring in another CDM. I'd keep Yates and I'd bring in another CDM.
Sangare for the first 65 minutes and Yates for the rest.
No.
Rob, it's too risky. We need look, the difference between we've now come 7th. We've had the season of our lives. We need to push on, and you've got to be ruthless. And you've got to have quality players to try and push for that top 5 next season. I would keep Yates because I think he offers something, but you've got to bring in another CDM to now start challenging Sangare. Sangare has been brilliant in the last 3 games.
All right, well, let me put the question this way then. If I said to you, Forest will get Douglas Luiz, but we have to get rid of Yates, just YRN in the chat, would you go for that? Would you go for it, Rob?
Well, yeah. But he would start over Sangare for me. So
okay, and then Sangare becomes the backup that we've upgraded. Would you not agree?
Well, I actually want to get our value for money out of Sangare, and it's starting to look like we might. So let's not rush to replace.
I just think you are being sentimental. Is my point, because I guarantee you, if I offer you a quality player and say the clause is sell Yates, all of you will say yes.
Yeah, but that's not going to happen. And also, we need more players for conference. Why can't we have another CDM and keep Yates and keep Sangare?
Why do we have to keep Yates? Where Yates, say we sold Yates for 20 million,
but he's not worth 20. He's not worth 20 million.
Just all right, whatever arbitrary figure. It's just a nice round number, right? Yates going for 20 million means we could spend about 60 ish million in that return because of the amortization and stuff.
Yeah, but I think there's other players we're going to sell before Ryan Yates.
I'm not saying he's the crappiest in the squad, bro. I'm saying he's the most profitable. That's my point.
I completely understand your point. I just think he's got something to offer.
Oh, come on. He is replaceable. I would give you that, right? I mean,
everybody in theory is replaceable.
No. I mean, right now, yeah, exactly. Or if Sells went, we'd be in trouble, right? So there's certain players where you think, oh, if they went, we would really feel it. Whereas if Yates went, you can get through a game with Sangare and Dominguez even without signing anybody. So I get that point that we can afford to let him go. But I mean, we don't know what everyone's getting paid as well. But I would doubt he's getting paid what a Douglas Luiz is getting paid. Probably a quarter of that.
So
because as a club, we spend about 95% of our income on wages, right? You've got to keep that under control.
Where'd you get that crap from?
Come on, all Premier League clubs do. It's
no, they don't. Villa's the only one at 96%, man. The rest, like, we have to be within 70. Right, did you not watch my Kieran Maguire interview, mate?
I do watch it. Yeah, I've watched every Kieran Maguire video you do. What I'm saying is,
he was very good, by the way. I have to say.
Yeah, within your wage structure, you need to have a few players that aren't costing you 100 grand a week.
Okay, but it's not about what he costs in terms of salary, man. I'm talking about moving the club forward, raising the bar, raising the standards, right? If you want to use Yates as a squad player, then look, I'm saying this because once Sangare came back in and found his form, every time Yates came on, I don't feel like it brought anything different or more advantageous to what we were doing at the pitch at the time.
No, I agree.
In those 2 games we've just had, when Sangare went off, we completely lost our way. That was so. My question.
I'm not saying that's because of Yates, by the way.
Sorry.
I'm not saying that's because of Yates, by the way. No, there's the quality drop.
Somebody else to bring on
My point is, let's. I hope this doesn't happen, but let's say starting next season, Sankari gets injured. You'd need at least 2 people to back up again.
He probably
And
will.
Ben, you will, because there's AFCON next season. There's AFCON next season.
Well, there you go. I don't know why we can't use Yates as a third player, third option. We've got European football next season. We need squad players.
Yeah, I wouldn't be looking to thin out our squad, and get rid of players. And I understand what he's saying. Wolfie, I understand what he's saying about from a PSR point of view, selling him. But as you've said, and as you've said clearly in an interview with Kieran, we're not in a position where we need to do something like that. He might be one that we could hold on to that kind of deal for when we do get into Champions League eventually. So I'd keep that one in the pocket for now. We're not in a position where we need to make moves like that. And I'm sure there's other youth players that we could do if we needed, sales and transfers that we could do if we needed to.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. That we don't need to spend, right? But we do need to spend more now.
We do need a bigger squad as well, though, Wolfie. So
but it's not even that. But I'm talking, Ez. The point is, had we got those 2 extra points and got Champions League, then the attraction is higher, right? Now the attraction becomes you're gonna have to show them the old moolah, man. Do you know what I'm saying? So we do need that extra money.
I don't think we need it this summer. I don't think we need it this summer. Sorry, go on, Crypto. What are you saying?
I was just going to say that. Let's say, hypothetically, let's say you bring in a backup. Let's say you bring in Louise, right? He's second or Sangare second, whatever. But you still want a third CDM. If Yates is worth maybe, I don't know, how much is Yates worth? 7 mil, maybe. Who are you going to bring in for 7 mil? Who's got what Yates has for the club?
I'll tell you, you could bring. There's a couple of free transfers. Gibbs White's best mate. What's his name? The short one. Man U, who used to be at Man U in France. Angel
Gomez.
Yeah. He's somewhere in between a 6 and a 10. I don't know.
Is he available? Because
he's a fringe
England player. He was a fringe England player, wasn't he?
Yeah, he did his debut with Gibbs White, didn't he?
Yeah, get him.
Yeah, so you could bring him in on a free.
There's a good list of free transfers available,
I feel like
Yates on there, Gomez is on there. Sorry, we're talking over each other.
What happened to that kid we had from Chelsea that Cooper never played?
Santos. Yeah, he's worth bucks now. He's worth
now. Well, we knew
he is balling out.
Yeah, I take him, man.
Absolutely balling out.
I still think
Yates is on Chelsea's books, isn't he? He's still on Chelsea's books. So
he's out. I think he's at Strasbourg, isn't he?
Yeah, I mean,
you
can see what the impact. Listen, there's going to be players available. Some of the Aston Villa have to sell. They will have to sell. They're in trouble. They didn't make Champions League. They spent a lot of money in the summer and in January to try and get that Champions League place. They've missed out massively, and they're going to be in financial trouble. So we may be able to pick up a few of their players on the cheap, and they have got some talent in that squad clearly. But there are other players, other deals that we can make throughout Europe. I think we do need to bring some foreign talent, some European experience into the squad as well, and that will bring competition. It has to be competition, and for me, we can't. There's not too many players in that squad apart from the ones we mentioned earlier with Jota Silva and Sosa. There's not that many that I'd be looking to move on. There's players that are coming to the end of their contract which won't be renewed. We already discussed that, but there will be places in our squad that we need to fill just to make up the numbers. So I'm expecting. I don't know if we've had to put a figure on this, but I'm expecting at least half a dozen signings this summer. At least.
Oh yeah, 100%.
We need more.
Yeah.
I still think Yates offers something though. If you're say 2-0,
how much do you think he's worth, Ben? I've just looked it up. How much do you think Yates' book value is? Yeah.
I personally would say Yates is worth about 10 million.
What are you saying?
I think it's more about 25.
Nah, 25 million.
Well, look, a player's, you're not going to like this answer, but a player's value is based on whether we want to keep him, whether there's more than one.
Same as a person's house.
How many years left on the contract? Blah, blah, blah.
Just give a fucking number, man.
I don't know, about 10 million.
10 million. All right. Well, the correct answer is 13 million euros, which is about 10 million pounds. Yeah.
So let's say it's worth 10 million. I think 10 million, like when you're 2-0 up against a team and he comes on and winds them up. I mean, every single game Yates plays, Twitter afterwards is full of Ryan Yates hates. hate, and that's what it proves. He has an impact on the game. He comes
You've
on and
transformed your opinion of him, haven't you, Crypto? You really have transformed.
I'm a Yates fanboy.
So that's fair enough. If he's won you over, he's clearly got something to offer.
He's not won me over yet, I'll be honest.
I think he's in the right game at the right time in the right game.
I just think where we want to be.
He scored that penalty against Brighton. That
missed it, man.
No, that took some balls. That did. He got us through to the to Wembley. So
yeah,
fair play.
Yates won't be sold anyway. So it's
anyway,
we spent 10 minutes on should.
I know we haven't even talked about the recent transfer gossip. Right, we got to talk about that.
We should do the bomb squads. We should assemble the bomb squad.
Oh my god, that's a whole stream in itself. Let me just catch up on the super chats. Chris with another £2 says, until Forest, Danilo only ever played at 6. Most of the time at Palmeiras he did, but if you look at his pitch position, even at Palmeiras, he was playing as an 8, and he used to break into the box a couple of times for them as well. I think it's still on the channel. Dino did an absolute cracking scout video on him back in the day. And like he definitely looked like an 8 even from then when we bought him. Dig it up, it should still be on the channel.
To be fair, we didn't buy him on the back of how he was playing as a CDM. We bought him on the back of how he was impacting as a number 8. You know, he scored goals in really important games for them. We won their version of the Champions League. He scored. I'm sure he scored the winning goal. He certainly scored the goal that got them to the final. Yeah,
but it's not the same.
His attacking play that we were interested in, not his CDM.
But players play differently in different teams in different leagues. I mean, look at like Anthony going to Betis. He's had a brilliant season with them. Look at Rashford going to Villa. I know he's injured, but it changes. Like you can't. I don't think you can really compare players cross leagues. It's not the same.
Rob, you Reds becomes a new member. Shout out to you, absolute legend. As does Macaroni and Cheese. Are you still sticking with the Macaroni name? Big up to you, man. Hope you're keeping well. And Throb Rob as well has become Throb you Rob, sorry. Am I reading that right? Throb you Red.
Throb you Rob.
Rob on the mic. Apologies. Thank you for the £2 super sticker as well. Guys, we're on 147 likes. There's over 400 in here, right? We should be on 200 now. Right, at the very least, it should be 150. So everyone take a very quick second. Just double check. Just close your live chat for a sec, right? Make sure you've ticked the old thumb. If it's ticked, cool. If not, make sure you've ticked it. Yeah, Throb you, Rob. Just that's gonna stick now, isn't it? Oh, Throb you, Rob. Anyway, take a quick second, hit that like button, make sure you're subscribed as well. Make sure you subscribe to our second channels because there's loads of videos coming up over the summer on there as well. It's pinned in the link in the chat for you now as well. And shout out to the big man Roy with the 20 months. Shout out to you, Roy. Thank you for all your support. Thank you guys in general. I know I said this on the video the other day, right? But honestly, and I say this every year, I don't know if everyone would agree on the panel, but this chat is next level, man. They are like next level. Best chat on YouTube. And I get to see a lot of them. A lot of them do hate me when I start calling out their clubs on the other channels. But you guys are exceptional. And you're quite funny.
I thought they were the best chat until they voted me 3rd in the poll.
Oh, did you end up first? Who won that?
And the thing is, they keep themselves entertained, which is brilliant. We don't really need to interact too much with them. But
yeah, I don't listen to what these lot say. I'm here to read the comments, man. I'm here for the comments. I'm not gonna lie. Shout out. And speaking of like legendary members, man, there he is. The beauty himself with the 33 months. Shout out to you, Sharky, man. Hope you're well, bud. Thank you for all your support. Okay, let's get on to some transfer news, boys. Transfer news. The big one that's starting. Yeah, we don't welcome Palace fans in here, Rich. Like, what are you saying, man? Right? He's little bro in us. Oh, we're in the Europa League. You lot are already in the conference. No, he hasn't really said that. But he's thinking it. Make sure you're subscribed over to Rich's channel.
Yeah, you should start thinking about your alliances for next season, bro. I think you burned every single bridge this year, so make sure you've
you pitch yourself in. I'm Newcastle with Villa, And technically, Palace. Once Palace bring themselves up into the the European spots of the table, Rich, the table, then well, we're already kind of aligned anyway. All right, transfers. So at the moment, the big news today is that Forest were in for Liam Delap, but then again, so was everyone else. And he's picked Chelsea, snubbed Forest, snubbed Newcastle, snubbed United, snubbed all 16 other teams basically. But what are you boys saying? Who was a fan of Delap on here? I can't remember.
I thought he was perfect the way we played. I know Ant wasn't, but I thought he would have fitted in perfectly as a Chris Wood backup stroke replacement. But it's spilt milk now. We haven't got him, and he was touting himself about as well, wasn't he? I mean, I don't understand though why. I mean, obviously they've given him big money, but is he an automatic start over Jackson? I don't think so.
No, Jackson, you're an automatic start over him.
I'd rather have Jackson than Delap.
Exactly. So is he going to warm the bench at Chelsea? I don't know.
Are you joking?
They're still going to buy another one. They're still going to buy another striker.
Oh my god!
Rob buys men.
I'm not even joking.
But he definitely gets in ahead of Jackson in Chelsea's teams. Surely,
anyone does. Yeah. Iwo gets in ahead of Jackson.
Oh, come on. Right. I would take Jackson at Forest.
Are you joking me?
No.
I'd take Nicholas Jackson at Forest, definitely.
I'd rather take thingy from Liverpool. Nuno.
You know what? I'd take Chelsea's whole team, and then we'd be in the Champions League, and we would have won the conference.
Yeah, you only need $1 billion, just $1 billion.
Oh, let me ask you guys: Jackson or Darwin Núñez?
Neither.
If you could have one.
Well, I'd rather take Núñez over Jackson, but I'd take both of them.
Yeah, 100%. Me too.
Núñez is going to sell for 70. Wwhy would you want him?
Say again? I missed that.
Núñez is going to go for like 70, probably to Saudi.
Who's going to pay that?
Nobody's going to pay that. That might be the price they put. No one's going to pay it. No one's going to pay it. After the last 2 seasons he's had at Liverpool, he's not. He's not.
All right. So how much would you pay for Núñez? How much would you pay for Núñez?
45 million, mate, tops.
But Núñez.
Yes, because he'd be my starting striker.
I would rather have Delap for 30.
No. Oh, I think he's better than Delap, man. I think he's better than Delap. Núñez is not. Núñez had quality before he came to the Premier League. Núñez was a quality player. I think I just think he feels too much pressure at that club.
For our level, realistically, Núñez would be a good striker.
I think it'd be
why are there so many of you that think if a crap striker came to Forest, make him good just because it took Chris with a year to go from crap to decent?
No, my point is he's not a crap striker. Højlund is a crap striker. He'll never make it in the Premier League. Darwin Núñez will make it in the Premier League if he's at the right club. I guarantee you. I think he's too much pressure at Liverpool, man. I think he can't handle the pressure at Liverpool. I genuinely think so. Because look at the chances that he's missed. They've been chances where he's like the last man. It's the pressure situations, and at Anfield, I don't think he could deal with it. I think he'd make a great addition.
I'd rather have Surridge and Davis back.
I would pay up to 45 million to make him our first
45 mil for him, man.
Yeah,
someone that scored 5 goals in a championship winning team is not worth 45 million. I mean, I know that he's had a lot of competition, but like if he was that good, he would have got more play time.
Yeah,
thank you.
Well,
I would not value it him more than 30. I wouldn't pay more than 30 for him.
My point is that my point is Wolfie was saying is 70 million, but I'm saying nobody's going to pay 70 million for his value.
I don't want to take big 6 rejects. I would rather buy people that we haven't heard of from Brazil, which is what was going to be. That was meant to be our model anyway. Yeah, exactly. Nketiah is the perfect example of a big 6 reject, right? Yeah, I don't want to buy that profile of player.
Not in the same league.
Núñez is way better than Nketiah.
Yeah, exactly. What are you talking about, man?
Simon's better than Nketiah.
No, you're missing the point. Rob's right. Getting a reject from the big 6 doesn't mean they're a good player, man.
Yeah. You're giving money to the big 6. I don't want to give them any money.
Yeah,
top dollar as well.
That's just
bias. You know his quality before he came to Liverpool.
He scored that goal against us in the 96th minute. I know his quality, but I'm not paying 45 million for him.
So who are you going to pay for then?
I don't want to give Liverpool £2.50. I don't want to give Liverpool any money.
You want
Do not give Liverpool money.
If Solanke,
we already have.
A big six, and I don't know what it is.
Yeah, well, he's all right. He's okay, and he's all right. And technically, Taiwo technically still a Liverpool player when we bought him.
No, we signed him from.
He was in Germany.
Union.
All right, so if you
in Berlin though, I can't. Anyway, never mind.
No, he was scoring there. No, he's Jonathan, bro. Jonathan, right? With lines like that, I ain't ever bringing you on. ever. Okay, well, let's do this then, right? Because I'm not gonna lie, I'm sick. And by the way, guys, sorry for the videos. Like, I can only report the news, right? If the player names that were being linked to are shitty, I'm sorry. Yeah, don't shoot the messenger. That's just where we are. That's the cost of Champions League right now. Okay, so let's get some inspiration here. I'm gonna put the boys on the spot and you in the chat on the spot. Are we all in agreement we need a striker? And chat, I'm guessing you are in agreement as well, right?
Yeah, two strikers.
Do you want realistically, and you can't say Visa, right?
That's what I was about to say.
Why can't we say
like this is already a target, right? I want some inspirational ideas.
But do the guys think? Okay, but my argument is we need two strikers.
I agree.
All right, fine. I'd take three strikers. I'm not, I'm not gonna freaking be stingy on striker. You bring him in, man. I don't care. Go five. Fuck it. Whatever you need, right? So give me some inspirational names. And chat, you're usually quite creative with these. Just before, I'll give these guys a second to think, because I've seen the panic looked on their face. Let me catch up with the supers. Sharky with the £10. He goes for Crypto's takeaway. Does he know what happened with your takeaway?
I think you know. I put it in the chat. I put it in the chat. So yeah, I'm not sure what to you. But shout out to the guy who delivered my takeaway last night.
I thought, sorry. I thought you were gonna say something else, but okay. Shout out to you, Andrew. Thank you so much for the £10, bro. Throb you Rob.
Throb you Rob.
With another £2 sticker, you absolute legend. And Isaac with the £2 says Volts made from Stuttgart for 35 million. Okay, now we're starting to get the juices flowing. I'm liking this.
And
right.
Makoko, guy clearly is a seasonal FIFA player.
Very good player. Okay. Who wants to go first?
I'm just gonna go with the guy who's got the best name, which is Benjamin Sesko.
Okay, they won 93 million for him.
Yeah,
so give me another name.
Maranakis is loaded.
Why would you go Sesko?
Because he's called Ben. And he's in my FIFA team.
Right, what's the situation with Victor Osimhen? Because he's an obvious.
He's probably going Saudi.
Is he going Saudi? Why?
Probably.
Why? We won't get Osimhen. We won't get Osimhen.
You know what? I need new panelists. These are the kind of names I'm talking about. Boniface, right? Osimhen, we need a Champions League, bro. Let's be real here, right? We ain't getting Osimhen.
Why?
Well, you think we get Osimhen?
I think we can get Osimhen.
Well, we won't get Osimhen. That's more far-fetched than Sesko. We could get someone. Who's that David guy in the Bundesliga?
David.
Yeah, Jonathan David.
Free as well.
He's in the French.
We've got to get him. We've got to get Jonathan David.
He might be going to Juve or Napoli.
Listen, we got Google keyboard warriors, so I'm going to throw in a name as well. Hugo Ekitike or whatever it is from Eintracht Frankfurt.
He's about to go to Liverpool, bro.
Yeah, well, I've thrown in the name.
70 million. Right, you lot are embarrassing yourself with your football knowledge, man.
Well, I wouldn't.
I'd take Rashford.
You take Rashford. You know, I had a nightmare last night that he does come.
I'd take Rashford as a backup winner. He's looked decent for Villa at times.
He's been injured.
Is he coming?
Yeah, before he was injured.
Back up for who, bro?
What do you reckon his wages are, though? They'll be obscene.
He's on like 400k, man.
Oh, no. Forget it. No.
Well, all right. What if you took him on loan and you only paid 25%?
Yeah.
Season long loan.
Yes.
Season long loan, yes. 25k of his.
He can play up front. He can play on the wing. Yeah.
Yeah,
Look, he's woken up.
Here he is.
Honestly, if he stays fit, I think Villa get over the line. He makes
you
it.
would take Trashford.
Yeah, but not for 400k a week.
Yeah, that
Okay,
deal
you
that
would take
just
Trashford
said-
on loan with 25% wages.
Yes.
Yes, 100%.
And Perez.
Yes.
Yeah, I definitely take Rashford.
Yeah.
Can I just say to Ant, whatever you do, don't go back and watch the worst player of the season part of this draw.
Yeah, no.
Don't rewind it.
Okay, you know what?
You don't
You
need
know
to
what?
be
Shout
picked
out to Sean. I've got a sneaky feeling on this one.
Vlahovic.
We've been linked
Vlahovic.
with him for a couple of years, though, haven't we? And there's
No,
nothing.
we
come
haven't,
of
man.
it.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, we have. His name's been mentioned a few years, bro. Give me a sec.
This guy definitely plays FIFA, man. He's just like reeling off my FIFA team.
Vlahovic, I've got a sneak now. Before anyone says anything, this ain't me. This is me talking. No, you can have him alongside Callum Wilson. I've been doing some maths, right? Okay. I think Gyökeres ends up at Arsenal. I think Sesko ends up. No, what was I going to say? No, sorry. Sesko and Gyökeres, between them, end up at Chelsea and Arsenal, right? There or thereabouts. Okay. Osman ends up in Saudi or something. And then no one else really needs a striker apart from Forest and Man U. I think Vlahovic ends up being between Forest and Man U.
Maybe. I think I'm predicting
He's not
that
quick enough, though.
whoever gets
What's the value?
Gyökeres wins the season.
About 40 mil.
If Arsenal get Gyökeres, they're going to be unstoppable.
They got
I think people are getting a
Arteta.
bit
No,
excited.
I think they managed to mess it up. Trust me.
I
Arsenal mess
think
it up
people are getting a
again.
bit excited about a player that has made his name at Coventry and in Portugal, right? I mean, he's
I
not
agree with Tommy.
Messiah, right?
Yeah, you got excited by Solanke, though.
Yeah.
I would take him, by the way.
Oh
actually.
my God, you
Oh,
I'm so glad
no.
that's not on, man.
Come on.
Good call.
Rob.
Good call. Yes, that's a big six reject. I would consider.
You would take
Say
Solanke.
that.
Yeah, at the right price. Yeah.
I'd rather
And
take Højlund over Solanke.
Yes, Solanke
I'm
is
just
shit.
saying. Look, Stoney proper liking Vlahovic, man.
Mm.
Yeah, I don't. Look, Vlahovic for me. I'm not saying he's it. I just think he works in Nuno's setup. That's what
Yeah,
I'm
but
saying.
just coming to the Premier League, we don't know how long he's going to take to settle in. I don't think he's one of those players that will settle in straight away. But there are
Jeff,
going to
I'm
be
nicking
players
that.
available. I just think the threes that are out there, if we can, Jonathan David is for me is top of that list because of the free transfer side of it as well. So you can afford to pay him the wages that he'll probably demand to come to the Premier League.
Here's the name.
Yeah,
What do people think of Jorgen Strand-Larsen from Wolves?
No.
No?
As a backup striker, maybe.
Yeah.
But
Look, if
we're
we're going to
gonna
buy
go on.
three, or two, let's say, if we're going to buy two, he could be one of the two.
No, Visa has to be one of the two. Somebody said it in the chat already.
Visa.
has to be one of the two.
But as I'm not sure Brentford will sell Visser if they sell Mbeumo to Man United. What they're
I
going
think
to do?
they might
lose
not
their
have a
core
choice.
attack?
Wait, hold on. Wait, what's going on? Sorry, carry
I
on.
think they might not have a choice, Crip, so I think they'll have to sell. I think they've got to get enough decent offers coming in for those players. They did it last season as well. They sold their central midfielder, central defender, and they managed to carry on. They're just one of those clubs, a bit like Brighton, that will manage to find other players to replace them. So they're a selling club, and they know they're a selling club.
Wait, who are you
Got rid
talking
of
about
Tony
still?
last season. We're
Who's
talking about
talking
Brentford.
about
They will sell players.
Wait, what player are you talking
They
about? Sorry, I
sold
was
their key
distracted.
man last summer, you know. They'll sell their key player.
Who?
Brentford, Visser. I said I'm not sure if Brentford will sell Visser if they sell Mbeumo.
No, he's going this summer. He's already
He's
said.
definitely going. Because
Him
he's on
and
his last year
Mbeumo
of
will
his
go.
contract, isn't he? And he's not
Look,
signed a new contract.
He's 28 and he's 29. He's pushing 29.
Yeah,
He's good.
That's why
He's
he's a
doing
backup.
pretty well.
He's still good, man. He'll still
What, you
have a
think
few years.
he doesn't get in ahead of Chris Wood?
I think we need another striker ahead of both of them.
Yeah,
That's
I think
what
he
I
become our
reckon.
number one striker. and then you'd have Chris Wood as backup and also somebody else.
Yeah.
I don't know what you lot have been drinking today.
Well, what are you thinking? You think we can go in with? Okay, so say we only sign Visser and Chris Wood is enough for us to go into next season with all these competitions that are going to be.
Visser, Wood, and Strand Larsen. Look, I think people have dismissed him too quickly. He scored 14 goals this season. He's a big unit. He's an impact sub. He could play on the right wing as well, right? I think if you want a deeper squad, he's a realistic target. He's a realistic target. He's not old. He's not injury prone. He deputized very well for Cunha this season when Cunha was banned for taking that guy's glasses off, for example, right? I mean, to score 14 goals in a Wolves side that was absolute trash for the first half of the season, I think is a decent shout. But he's a realistic target.
I tell you another one.
That is a good point.
Another one is sorry. Go on now.
Go on.
I was going to say another one similar to Strand Larsen, who's in a team that probably will be selling a couple of his stars, is Evan Nielsen at Bournemouth. He's a big, strong centre forward, and if he could stay fit, I think they would have finished tied up the league this season. But he's another one I'd possibly be looking at, similar to Strand Larsen. But I just think quality-wise, honestly, for a striker, let's forget about who the player is going to be. I'm talking about price tag. Surely for our main striker, we're going to have to be looking to spend 40 million plus. Surely, if we want the quality that
I think for us where we are now, it's one of the most important positions. If there's one position, if you can only strengthen one position, it'd have to be striker.
Yeah, and to facilitate all of this, we need to sell like a Morgan Gibbs-White. I'm sorry, we do need to. We've got some money in the bank, and we have got some positivity with PSR and all that, but we still need a big signing would give us a 150 million pound budget going into the summer.
You split it over the price of their contract, so it's not that much. Even if you spend 50 million a year.
I would not say striker is the most important position.
If we could only sign one.
If you can sign one, it's not a striker.
No, I'm not saying it's the most important position. There's lots of important positions, bro. But we definitely need to fill the striker role.
Yeah, hang on a second. If you only sign one position, you wouldn't sign a striker.
No, I'm midfielder shit.
No, strikers, without a doubt.
This one's man. He hasn't freaking gone limp overnight.
Yeah, he's going to go and play New Caledonia again. Look, as I made it very clear, right? We had this discussion. You were saying, "Oh, you can't stop him playing international football for New Zealand." Fine, if we can't stop him, we need to have backup for when he goes and gets injured playing for New Zealand again. If he retired from New Zealand, I would be able to have more confidence in him being able to. By the way, he put in almost the top minutes for us after Sells in terms of so he has. He's been available this season, but we were flogging a dead horse in the last couple of months.
It's not even about injury. It's about we need someone to offer something different, and we need to score more goals.
Definitely,
yeah, I agree that, but that's why I'm saying it's not priority.
If you don't score, you don't win games. Midfield.
I'm saying if we can only sign one position, you all saying striker.
Yeah, yes, 100%. And I'll tell you why. Those last 4 home games, we got 1 point and 2 goals.
Yeah.
That's why we didn't make Champions League.
Because the midfield didn't create anything.
No.
Chris Wood had chances against Chelsea and he missed them. We need a different type of striker to offer something different.
All right, on the striker, I can't believe none of you didn't name Mateta.
What? From the
definitely take him.
We're going to sign him from the Europa League, are we?
I thought Mateta was going to. I can't remember who I heard earlier. Is it Man United? Oh, Man United trying to get Mateta.
I don't know, but Mateta is a player I'd love at Forest, but I can't see us getting him. I don't think they need to.
Mateta?
Mid to late 20s.
He's 28.
Yeah.
28.
But
similar age to Visa.
I don't think we're in a position to raid Crystal Palace at all now because they've got Europa League and we haven't. They've actually had a better season than us.
No, Rich,
No,
right?
no.
Rich.
Yeah, United won it.
United don't have European football. United are going to have to play the early rounds of the League Cup.
Hang on,
Right?
Palace have European football. Why is he definitely leaving Palace?
I don't know. I don't think Rich feels like him and Eze are going to go. I'm putting
They
words
need
in
to
Rich's
sell
mouth.
both of
them.
I'd definitely take
I think they will.
And
We
we're
won't
also
get
linked
Eze.
to Lee Kang In, the winger from PSG. Like,
Yeah, I don't know enough
if
about
that
him. I know you
excites
shared it in our private chat. I don't know enough about him. What do you know about him, and how do you rate the chances of getting to play that?
He's for me. He's
Mm.
He's not really cut it.
Yilmaz has to be one of the main.
Yilmaz excites me. Yilmaz excites
Yeah,
me.
Yilmaz. We've spoke about
and he
Yilmaz
wants
since
to
last.
come. That's a good point. You know, we want people that want to come. That was actually the one thing that impressed me about Sosa, that he wanted to come. Remember, when he kind of went on strike. I'm interested in people that want to come, not the sort of Delaps of this world who are basically touting themselves about and rather overvalue themselves.
Yeah, but Rob, you say that, but look how it's worked out for Sosa. Barely gets played.
Exactly.
Just because he wants to come,
passion
doesn't mean
merchant.
anything. At this level,
But
it doesn't mean anything. I want to play for Forest. They're not going to choose me, are they?
And Yilmaz has got that European experience. I'm saying will be critical for next season. We need players who've played in Europe and know what they're doing, you know. And the fact that he does, all the signs are pointing to him wanting to come here. He's been positive ever since we've been linked to him, and all the noises coming out of Turkey have been positive as well. So that's one I'm pretty certain we will get across the line, and that does excite me. It adds competition for me, but with his quality, he'd be looking to be a starter in that 11, whichever position he's played in across that front three. But he does give you that option to even play as a false nine. He's got a lot of quality, and it does give Nuno a few more options, like say across that front three. But we need more solid connections, you know, a few more links coming up.
Yeah, we need to get moving, man, because everyone else is moving and we're not.
Yeah, Wolfie, remind us how this transfer windows have been split up, if you can.
So it opens up on the 1st of June, so literally in 2 days. You're gonna see probably Vert signing for Liverpool and what have you. Then it closes in I think 10 days' time. While they do the Club World Cup, and then it reopens again towards the end of June. So it's almost like a double window. Now, what you're also gonna see is a lot leaving Villa, because Villa have to sell before the 30th of June. So there could be some bargains up for grabs. You know what I'm saying?
What's the situation with Watkins? Because they were talking about.
I don't know. Watkins, really?
Yeah.
I'm not interested in Watkins. I am interested in Aaron Ramsey from Villa. I would like him as a part of our squad.
Honestly, it's that kind of gut reaction, which is why we ended the season with just Chris Wood.
Ollie Watkins is amazing. Why would you not take Ollie Watkins?
Yeah,
I don't rate him at all.
The deal would be right.
They are, right. So when I did that Villa podcast, they were talking openly about he's going to move at the end of the season. So
why would he move to Forest, Rob?
Well, because Villa also didn't get Champions League, so we can at least, if they need to offload, then I mean I would take him.
I'd 100%.
How old is he? Isn't he like 30 now? I think he's probably
younger than Chris Wood.
30,
too old for us. I want like a mid-20s.
Why we didn't sign anybody? Right? We've got standards that are in excess of our pulling power. Right? And this is why we went through the January window. We didn't sign anybody. This is the argument I had with Ant at midnight, where I called him a bad word, right? And it went viral, right? We have standards that are in excess of our pulling power, right? And if you were going to draw a Venn diagram of players that all four of us like and players that want to come to Forest, it does not overlap. Right,
yeah, but Rob, because we can't agree on anything.
Right, if you're telling me that we came out of this summer and we'd signed Strand Larsen and Watkins, I would think that would be a
Strand Larsen in New Solanke.
That would be a fantastic summer transfer.
Have you got a picture of Strand Larsen on your phone? Have you got him as your wallpaper?
Oh my God. You people, right? So we're all in agreement that we should have strengthened in January. but absolutely nobody was up to our standards.
Standards. Stop saying our standards. It's Ant's standards. It went up to Ant's standards.
We know that nobody's good enough for him. That's been established.
No, what's wrong with Ant having standards, man?
No, we're saying his standards.
I feel like, you know what you're sounding like, Rob? You're sounding like you're in the nightclub. It's getting to the end of the night. You're panicking. You're thinking, I ain't getting laid tonight, man. Let me just see what's left over. Grab it. You know what I'm saying? It's like one of them ones, man.
Strand Larson walks through Rock City's doors and Rob's like, oh, God, mate.
Why do you think he's shit? Sorry,
I'm not saying that.
But you've mentioned him about 5 times. That's all.
He'd be a backup for me.
I'm just saying he's boring.
Realistic. Right, Wolves to Forest right now is a step up, right? Villa to Forest right now is a sideways move. You're talking about people who have their pick of European clubs, right? So what's going to happen is Liverpool and Arsenal are going to make their signings, and then the likes of Newcastle will be next, and Chelsea and Man City, and then we get the leftovers, right? So just get real, will you, please? Because the only player that you've talked about with consistent enthusiasm, Wolfie, was Omar Marmoush, right?
And Gyökeres.
What, the Coventry player? You're getting way too excited about a Coventry player who's really ripped it up.
Come on, have you seen Gyökeres? He scored like 43 goals.
Rob. Gyökeres
in Europe.
I tell you what, Rob.
Has Gyökeres ever played a Premier League game?
Rob, it's a good job you're not a recruitment manager. God help us, we'd be back down in League One.
Wait a minute, I've got the lowest standard of anybody. I would actually sign them.
We'd be back down in League One.
I would actually sign some of these players.
You just answered my point and proved it in the same sentence.
Oh man! Look, right. I'm just saying, like, I still think. You know who I think we still get? Like, chat. Do you remember Yuri Alberto, the Brazilian that we've been linked to, that was meant to come in January and then didn't come and all.
Yeah, he wanted to come, didn't he? He was one of those players who wanted to come to Forest.
We will definitely sign a Brazilian player this transfer. Can we all agree on that? That's like definite, man. Definite. I think our marquee signing. If I had to make predictions now, right? Quick predictions. I think our marquee signing will be Douglas Luiz. I think we'll chase him down with Edu.
That's a marquee signing for this summer.
Yeah. Oh, well, we didn't get Champions League, bro. What do you expect?
Yeah, no.
Bro, he's quality, bro. He's quality.
No, sorry, finish what? No, definitely would take him. But if he's going to be our best player or the marquee signing of the summer, I'm not that impressed. But carry on. And the rest of what
you know what I want more than a striker or anything else? I want a player who can pick the ball up and dribble. And when he dribbles, it scares the defense, and the defense back off him. And then he can do, a quick little skill move, cross the ball in, or take a shot or something like that, man. I don't feel we got a player that scares oppositions. Even like a Semenyo, him when he starts to dribble at players, they back off the defenders and stuff. We don't have that, man. We don't have that. We need that. No, we need that. Someone that gets you on the edge of your seat.
Yeah. Do you know what? I always say this, but my favorite ever, most exciting pairing I saw at Forest was Mikel Antonio and Asombalonga. And I know it was a different league, but that what you just said is exactly that. When Antonio and Asombalonga used to run at a defense, they shat themselves, absolutely shat themselves. Like if we could get it would be fantastic.
Yeah, Antonio especially. Antonio was a real game changer.
Even Oliver Burke as well.
Even Oliver Burke, for those dozen games that he played for us, he was next level with his.
He was quality, man. What German club did he go Leipzig? Was it Leipzig?
Yeah, RB Leipzig he went to, didn't it? But Mikel Antonio in his prime, man, he was like levels above the championship.
Can I just say one thing about Luiz, right? So if Juventus fourth in Serie A, did that mean they made the Champions League or not?
Yeah, they got Champions League.
So why would he want to leave?
He's not getting game time. I think he will definitely leave this summer. But he wanted to go to Man City or Man United. That was the thing. That's why he didn't join us in January. And don't forget, if you get him, then you also get his wife. Should go, like the PR she would do in the women's team would be crazy.
Yeah, so, with them being promoted as well. So yeah, I think that could really help. It might be bigger deal in terms of like from what's the word I'm looking for? From basically from a media point of view. Have they? Oh,
I don't know. Ed said it and they can't. Is that right, Ed?
Well, if breaking news. Literally.
Breaking news. I don't know.
All
right.
Daily Mail.
Do you know, I just realized we've been live for an hour and a half and basically
it's like 34 degrees in this room as well.
Yeah. Should we wrap it up there? What's tomorrow? Friday. Oh, cool. Friday it is. All right, we'll be back tomorrow with the video. I'm pretty sure you've learned nothing tonight from all this babbling we've done. So if you've learned nothing, make sure you've hit the like button. Make sure you've subscribed as well. That's fake news, is it, Mark? Okay, so they're still together. Wait, you don't need to make your mind up in the chat, man. Like half you saying yes, half you saying no. Like, just trust. Mark's pretty trustworthy. He's saying fake news. So make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe. Should we go raid someone? Who should we raid, boys? Who's live?
Who's live?
Who's live? Oh, Cass is live. Should we go raid Cass and call him a fraud?
We'll raid Cass, but before you guys go, just make sure you do what Carol says, otherwise she'll ban you all, and she loves doing that. So yeah, hit the like button, guys.
Yeah, you don't want to cross Carol. Now that we can reply to each other on comments, Carol's not the one you want to cross. Just everyone go into Cass's chat and just type the word fraud for me, and just if any of you can get him to rant at you, there'll be a special prize in it for you. So go raid Cass now, call him a fraud, and we'll see you on tomorrow's video. Come on, you Reds.
You Reds.